Hello internet, we're back. I'd just like to say that this is actually sponsored by my neck spot. Have you seen it?
Oh no.
No, you have seen it because we just got back from Centre Parks and I told you.
That's a crust. Do you remember we had matching neck spots? Love a neck spot. And
Okay.
the spot cracks.
Rosie and I feel like it's been forever since we've updated you on anything to do with our lives.
Because it has.
Because it has.
Yeah.
Because we've been very, very
That's
busy
why we
bees.
feel that way.
Right. So we decided to do what we like to call an uncut video, but with possible cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing throat burps. So
Rosie's got a mysterious illness.
Is it hay fever? Is it
ADHD? I don't know. So she's doing her, I'm doing me. How are
got
you?
a creaky throat burp? Like when I was pregnant, I had to chug Gaviscon. I'm just going. It's doing that. Listen, can you hear it?
No, we've just got back from Senny Peas, haven't we,
Senny
Rosie?
Peas.
And we don't feel relaxed, calm, or rejuvenated at all.
Holidays
do we?
are actually more hard work because it's just parenting, but not at home with all your toys and more tantrums.
But the most important thing is Rosie
And spending more money.
Rosie fell in love on holiday, didn't you,
Oh,
Rosie?
I've fallen in love before.
Okay, do we start with pregnant woman or do we start with something else?
Pregnant woman.
Okay,
Go for
Rosie,
it.
I'll
Right,
just
so
take the lead, Rosie.
Years ago, when I just had Ziggy, we went to Centre Parks and I met a pregnant cat who I called Pregnant Woman.
Pregnant woman.
And she was walking around with her big pregnant belly.
Because she was pregnant.
Right, and we had a bond and she kept coming to our window, wanted to go in, and you and Laura Dix wouldn't let me let her in.
I was like, don't let her in, Rosie.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Well, I came back to Centre Parks and saw her again, Pregnant Woman.
Pregnant woman.
No longer pregnant, but
No.
she's got mouths to feed.
But still
again,
pregnant
you
woman.
wouldn't let her in. Again. Right? We had a bond,
hold
a
on.
connection like no other. And when Rose and Laura left the house, she came in.
Rosie,
But
I
I had to
told
take
you
a
not
poo and a shower and then another second poo, which is always terrible when you had the poo after the shower. That's just like
do you know what it is?
It's like I'm so clean and fresh,
Yeah.
I've soaked up my a-hole and then back to poo again. But you know, there's always second helpings with me. The throat burp, hold on, you gotta hear. Did you hear it?
I've actually got a poo story from Centre Parks, but I'll
Hold
wait.
on.
It's all right, are you okay?
Wait, there's a big one coming.
How are your burps?
That's what she said. Oh, well, now I have to cough to burp. I need more Botox. That's another story. Anyway,
Okay.
me and her had a bond, and I was like, should I bring her home? Because we've got such an incredible bond. But the only thing that stopped me was I was like, she's got a better life at parks.
And we've got a
Living in
zillion
the forest.
animals, Rosie,
No,
that
but
we
it was
already
she had a better
regret.
life. Anyway, I went home, and I was like, other people must have like met this cat also. And turns out that she's called Mr. Gump, but she is a woman, because no, it's not a man, but the
Pregnant woman.
cleaners named her Mr. Gump or
Okay.
Forrest. And she was on Reddit and she was on everywhere, and other people bonded with her. I'm like, no, sluts,
pregnant.
why did you cheat on me? We had the bond, not other people. I'm glad
I heard
just
it.
creaking.
Okay, so what we're going to do about pregnant woman,
I'm
you
ill.
can't take her from the forest environment that she's grown up in.
It's probably better for her in the forest.
Should we
but
take
do
her
I
next
love
time?
her?
Okay.
Yes. Did I feed her? Yes.
Where
Is
is
she
it?
my pregnant woman?
Yes.
She's not pregnant anymore, but yes.
I actually had a
It's
lovely
mine.
holiday apart from all the things that went
Everybody
wrong.
else bonded with her and was like, oh, this cat, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sorry.
She came to our cabin every day.
Yeah, and when
you
I
gave
picked
her
up
like a
Flynn from the
zillion tins
kennels,
of tuna.
When I picked up Flynn from the kennels, he knew I cheated, and there was an atmosphere, and I was like, sorry, but you're getting old now,
There was
and
an
I love you.
atmosphere.
It was tense. He was giving me the cold shoulder, literally, and I was like, it's a heat wave. If you could, like, not give me the cold shoulder, that would be good.
Can I just say I did unlock a mummy achievement on holiday.
Go on, what was
So
it?
basically I was in the aqua pool, is that what it's called?
Aqua sauna, pool, whatever, who
Pool.
cares?
And all the family were off doing other things. Ziggy,
Oh, yeah.
Kate and Stan, Laura and you. And I was like, oh crap, I need to poo. And I had Rocky and I was like, right, it's actually quite an aggressive poo. And it's because I hadn't
You can't
slept.
leave him in the pool.
I had loads of coffee and my whole routine was like out of kilter and I was like, okay.
So a normal
push out.
day.
Right, exactly. So I was like, what am I going to do here? This is quite aggressive. So I actually took Rocky with me to the public toilet, put him on my lap, had the world's most nasty, painful, horrible
Can't
poo,
put him anywhere else.
wiped.
Well, you're gonna put him on the
picked him
dirty
up,
toilet
did-
floor.
Well, exactly. Went out.
Did
washed
you
my
wipe
hands,
whilst
take-
holding?
I did it all,
Very
Rosie, whilst
difficult.
holding, and I thought, you know
You know
what? Mummy achievement
That
unlocked.
happens. Sometimes you've got to poo with
You
a child
are
on your lap.
pushed. Do you know what? When you have
It
kids, you are
happens.
pushed into rounds that are so uncomfortable.
You are.
You feel like you can do anything if you achieve them, and I did.
I think like poo was always a normal part of our life.
Yeah. Our what? Sorry.
Our life.
Woody,
and then when
what? What do you want, Woody? You've had
You've been
your
fed.
you've been fed, and you've had your chicken strip.
Woody has pica. No, he does.
No,
which
he
is
actually does.
It's when dogs eat things that aren't
Everything.
like plastic. Like the other day, he did a poo, and I was like, "What's that in his poo?" And it was a tiny
dinosaur.
plastic tree. No, do you remember that plastic tree?
Oh, another plastic tree.
Yeah, no, he just
that's
eats
exactly
things that aren't.
It does complicate life somewhat.
Just somewhat.
Yeah.
So we've got rats.
No, we have.
No, so we thought we had. No, so right.
No,
How
no,
naive
no.
we are, right? No. So
I'm
Wilma,
embarrassed.
Wilma used to go out and bark at this like bit of fence, right, by a neighbour's
Garden. Shed.
And Rose was like, "Oh, there must be a little mouse,
A cute little
little
mouse.
mouse or something," because she's always
Who's
barking.
lost its parents.
Right.
Living in poverty
Just the one,
with no
one
food.
tiny mouse, yeah. And then she moved where she was barking to this tiny hole in the wall, and we were like, "Oh, little mouse must be like popping
He's
through
trying
the
to find
hole."
his way home back to his mum.
Yeah, he probably
Dad.
pops through and teases Wilma, and she can't get to him. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Then, like, we had a mate come round, and she was like, "I just saw a rat run through your garden."
But no, you must
I was
be
like, "Are you sure it's a
mistaken.
rat?"
It's a mouse.
She was like, "No," she was like, "It was a rat." I was like, "Okay, there's one rat."
It must be one tiny little baby rat with
we were
no
like,
parents.
"Oh, it's just one rat." And again, I didn't assume they lived in our garden either. I was like, it must have just popped in through the hole. Like
So,
it's like.
for about a month, Wilma was obsessed with
Oh,
the
long-
chicken
it's
coop.
been a long
right?
time.
At the end of the chicken coop, we have a little compost bin where we put like,
I just
dodgy
put the
eggs
dirty
or
hay,
dirty hay.
yeah.
And it's a lovely little kind of hay mound, perfect for a tiny baby
It's
mouse.
warm, dry, and full of hay and bits of food, I guess.
So
for-
Wilma
for a mouse or rat.
sat there night and day for a month, and I was like, there must be something in there. She's a terrier. She's a, dare I say, ratter by nature. And I was like, okay, so our friend saw one rat, there must be just the one rat.
And then what possessed you? Because you went over and shook the compost bin.
to see if little Ratigan would come out, which he did. And I was like, I've seen it, Rosie, I've seen it with my own goggle balls.
We've got a rat.
one pet rat.
And Rose was like, "I'm worried that what if the pet rat is a woman, it has babies, right?"
I didn't say that, so to speak. I said, potentially there's a chance that when there's one rat,
There may be
there
more
might
rats.
be 2 or 2,000. But anyway, my parents came round and I said, Dad, do you want to see our pet rat Ratigan? And he went, okay. So I shook the compost bin. Not 1, not 2, but 9 rats.
9 rats. By the way, we called it Ratigan, right? When we thought we had one rat, because have you ever seen Basil the Great Mouse Detective? And there's Ratigan.
It's actually really scary.
His name was
It's really-
No, but his name was Ratigan, but he got offended if you called him a rat. Do you remember?
Oh my God, yes.
He was like,
I
"What
get
did you
that.
call me?"
Do you know what,
So
I
your
get
name is
that.
Ratigan. Rose told me this story once. She came home from her mum's once, right? Rose was like, "My mum's friend had a rat in her garden by her bin."
Oh my God, this
And
story.
She was like, she didn't mean to, but she cornered the rat,
Yeah.
right? And the rat jumped up
Yeah.
and bit her neck.
Yeah.
But then
Her husband hit it with a spade
and it died
with a
on her
lockjaw.
neck. So it got rigor mortis and died attached to her neck.
Like
so
a
then
rat
she-
pendant.
Yeah, so
to
she
speak.
had it
Yeah.
on her neck, and then I don't know
Yeah.
the end of the story, really.
That was the end of the story. Speaking of rats,
People
this
call
video
us- yeah.
is sponsored by Surfshark.
Yes.
Who's not a rat. If anything,
It's a surf shark.
It's a surf shark.
That's what we need to get rid of the rats.
Have you ever wondered how safe your personal data really is online from rats? Or how you can watch your favourite shows from anywhere in the world?
Well, let us introduce you to Surfshark VPN, the app that not only keeps your online identity safe
from rats.
but also lets you explore content from across the globe without ever having to leave your sofa.
Imagine you're at Centre Parks and you want to watch that show everyone's talking about, but it's not available in the country you're visiting. Frustrating, am I right?
But with Surfshark, you can simply switch your virtual location and problem solve.
Instant access to the content you want no matter where you are.
Now let's talk about security. Ever connected to public Wi-Fi in a public cafe or airport? I did. Centre Parks Wi-Fi, Starbucks Wi-Fi.
Those networks are a hacker's playground.
And a rat's playground.
You can use Surfshark to encrypt your information and stay protected wherever you go. So Rosie, are you ready to unlock the full internet and protect your personal data from rats? Head to surfshark.com/Rose and Rosie or use our code Rose and Rosie at the checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN.
And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk to try out for yourself.
Link in the description below. So, any other goss?
Yeah, so I've...
Are you
Where does
alright?
that-
I know, I feel
had
that
a
way.
huge public fall the other day. It's really dramatic. Don't want to go too into detail, but basically I went to pick up Zig from nursery. I witnessed tiny children fighting, which looked like tiny drunk men brawling. It was terrible.
Yeah.
There was a right hook.
Yeah.
There was slamming each
Yeah.
wall. It was insane.
Yeah.
This is the toddlers.
Yeah. Not the
I was
parents.
shocked. I left nursery and I bumped into a mummy friend and I forgot her name in a panic.
Rosie, we've known her for years.
I know, but it was my ADHD panic, other things on my mind. And my friend was like, what's going on with you? And I was like, oh, I'm going to Centre Parks. And she was like, I know. Aren't I supposed to be looking after your chickens? And I was like,
yeah.
Shit, yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about the chickens.
Yeah.
And
Easily
then
done.
she went off and I fell in the road,
Holding
in the road.
Ziggy, and you just went over like a sack of pure shit, didn't you, Rosie?
Straight to the ground, right? Bruised and scraped all my knees. They were like purple and inflamed just before Centre Parks. So I'm gonna look good in the pool, right? Fell over, right?
Yeah.
So I texted her like, did you see me fall over like a sack of shit on the floor? And she was like, yes, my daughter screamed, Rosie's on the ground. She was like, I pulled over in Waitrose to see if you're okay. And I was like, I'm fine.
Oh, Rosie, when you fall in public, babe, you don't actually get over that for years.
No, it was really bad.
No, I have done it. I haven't been holding my child at the same time though, which is great.
Oh, honestly.
Poor little Zig.
I know, it was terrible. We fell and then it was
Are you
really
okay?
traumatic. No, I couldn't
These
think
things
about it without
happen
being
to
like,
you,
oh,
don't
I
they?
fell.
They happen
And
to you a
yesterday I
lot.
got really aggressively hissed at by a swan. I was the only person he hissed at and everyone else was fine.
Why?
To me, and I was like, okay.
Do you think it picked up on, do you think it knew you were bi?
I don't know what the issue was, but it was really nasty only to me. Basically, I went to a natty trust, Rose wasn't there. Went to a natty tea, like you do, because my friend's got membership, so it's free. I was like, that's a picnic, boss, no money spent.
Nice.
But did we spend money?
Yes.
We did. You never get away with a completely free day.
You
Never.
don't,
It just
do you,
doesn't
babe? Not
happen.
even at Natty Trust.
No,
do
a
you know what I
natty
mean?
tea, not when there's ice cream involved.
Not when there's ice cream involved.
So we went for this big long walk. I got my 10k steps in, and there was this swan that everyone was walking past, and everyone walked past it fine. And then whenever I went to walk past it, went. When I fell over, I said to Rose, my spirit team really said, like, we're gonna take away her ego.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna just.
Right.
You know,
that's your
every time I
lesson in
thought I'd
life.
get better, like, the spirit
like-
team was like, we need to knock her down a peg or two, let's have her publicly fall.
Yeah, they're like, do you know what? We'll have that ego.
I know.
We'll take it.
Okay. Me and Rose were talking about inner monologues in the car, because you told me about something you thought, right? Did you hear it?
Yes, Rosie, I heard it. You don't have to prove to me that you can.
You can't hear it. I
Right.
need to hold like a microphone.
What were we saying
And then you
about
just hear
inner
like,
monologues? I can't remember.
We hear them. I was like, do you hear in your mind like
My
we
voice.
have different? Yeah. And Rose was like, no, only if. How do you feel?
Only if I have anxiety do I hear my own voice.
See, when I have anxiety, my inner monologue goes away.
Really?
And that's how the anxiety takes over.
Oh,
That's how I
really?
spiral.
Really?
Yeah.
So if I'm having anxiety, I can hear, it's okay, Rose, you've been here before, you can get through it, you know the ways, right?
No, I
That's
wish
what
my
can
inner
hear.
voice did that. My inner voice is a
But
bitch.
if I had like an idea or some inspiration, I don't say, hey Rose, here's a good idea.
So how do you know you've
It
got an
just
idea then?
comes like
How?
quietly.
Like do you read it? How do you?
It just comes like, it's like someone just posted a letter in my brain. I'm like, there it is.
So
that's an idea.
Let's just take me through it, right? In the morning, right? So you're walking around, you're making your coffee.
Yeah.
What's your brain doing?
My brain's saying, God, I wish my wife could wash up without
No, what is
flooding
it really doing?
Right, what's it doing? It's quiet in the morning because
It's quiet.
Well, I think my body is anxious in the morning. I find the morning is the most anxious time of the day because we've got kids, dogs, everything is
Adrenaline.
It's so much adrenaline to get him out to nursery. So my brain hasn't really got time for a monologue. But if I'm having anxiety quietly at night, that's when it.
Can you
it's
give an example of it at night? Like how?
Just breathe, Rose, it's okay. You won't get norovirus, not today. Maybe tomorrow, but if you get it, you'll be fine. It's just one of those things you're gonna have to go through when your kids are in nursery. You'll survive. It'll be fine.
If I'm relaxed, that's when my brains are chatting.
Really?
Yeah.
So what does it say to you?
So,
Tell
like-
me, talk me through the
So
dialogue.
for a really long time as well, because of doing YouTube and doing it, kind of every day. I know you think we don't film every day, but like
We
doing
don't.
YouTube bits every day, and having ideas and doing this for my whole life since I was 20, like basically the whole of my 20s and
Yes.
all of my 30s so far. For ages, it would be like, hi guys, blah, 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 and I'd make a video in my head. And what annoys me
An
is
apology
it will be
video.
I've made apology videos. What's great is, what's annoying is I'll make the best videos in my head, and it'll be so good, especially
So
at night. I
good.
can't sleep because I'll be like presenting a YouTube video. So for ages, I was like, I need to just talk to me again and not be filming a YouTube video 24/7 in my head. So for ages, I just filmed. So say I was getting ready, I'd be like, so now I'm putting on, like, even though that's not the content I make, I'd just always be talking to an audience.
I just love how your go-to video to make for a while was an apology video.
No, I would make an apology
if you
video
ever
all the time.
had to make one. Have you made an apology video for just being yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'd just be on YouTube all the time, right? So basically, but now it's like, if I'm relaxed, it's more like it's like a chick lit film.
In my
head. That's how I know I'm relaxed. And actually, when I have anxiety, I wish chick lit Rosie would come in. And
you're on Prozac now, though, baby. Don't need it.
It's chilled me out. Has chilled the edge off.
Yeah.
It's making me lose my hair because my spirit team was like,
ego.
I get knocked down. And she goes up again. We're always going to keep you down. It was like, right, I physically got knocked down. I mean, why did I fall in the middle of the road for no reason? Like, nothing even happened. It was just like, fall down, forget her name. So I shaved the inside of my nose.
You shaved it with razor? Oh, a nose trimmer.
Yeah, so I got one of those off Amazon, right? And then because of my ADHD, I couldn't put the battery in it for ages, even though I know exactly where the batteries are. And I was like, Rose, can you please just help me put a battery in? Like, I gave birth without painkillers, but I can do this, so much I can do. I'd be like, I'm gonna do this.
You can't seem to
I'm like,
do.
I'm gonna write a novel, but then like, I can't put the battery in my flipping
And the longer you leave it, the worse it becomes.
And then, right, I finally, one day, had a coffee and was like, I'm gonna put the battery in that thing, right?
Yeah.
Put the battery in it, it broke, so I now have to hold the battery in to make it work, which I was like, I don't want this to explode.
With respect, you're quite frustrating for me, who has everything lined up perfectly.
Sorry, I exist, babe.
It's alright, babe. Make your apology video right now.
I will. I'm sorry I exist. Anyway, right, so I put it up my nose, really went ham, and then...
Was there a lot up there?
I realised...
raw, to be honest.
Well, it's raw because I've got this extreme hay fever / cold, whatever I've got, so I've been blowing my nose every second, else it just drips out. The other day I was putting screen wash in my car and then I just watched my nose just drip, because obviously I had my hands
washing your screen.
I just dripped down, I was like, But anyway,
you really got no ego.
One time I had a colonic, right? I had a colonic, you know where they put water up your butt?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Right? And then the next day I went to work and water just poured out my nose.
Was it
good
water?
Well, I was like...
Can you talk to me more about the colonic? How did that make you feel and why do you have it?
Well, let me just finish.
Okay.
But like, you know, I've got this cold, so I got rid of all the hair in my nose, right? And now my nose just drips, and I'm like, is it dripping because I'm ill, or is it dripping because the nose hair's meant to keep your drips in? Do you know what I mean?
But why do we have nose hair?
To catch the germs, but
So
I pick it anyway.
Fall out.
I pick it anyway, so.
Yeah. Do you know you pick it and you eat it?
I hadn't, yeah.
Oh, Rosie, no!
Everyone does.
No, they don't.
I don't.
I used to as a child because I thought it was interesting. Then suddenly, I don't know at what age.
I'm 35.
Probably 3. It turned my stomach. And I thought,
you enjoy it.
Sometimes I watch you having a munch and I'm like, Rosie, that literally, I'm like, do you know what? I married you and you do that.
But do you know what, Rose? Tell me, could you be with someone else?
Yeah.
No, you couldn't. Could you?
No, if I'm not with you, I've decided I'm not with anyone. I can't.
So you couldn't be with anyone else?
I was thinking about this morning.
I take me and my bogies.
Yeah, I just can't be bothered to date
again. What about Sydney Sweeney? What if she was like, I'm lesbian only for you? What would you do?
Her.
Could you be with Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah.
Could you? Yeah. I think you could. Why? I think you'd miss me. I think you'd miss me.
Babe, I don't think if I was with Sydney Sweeney, I don't think I'd remember you.
I think you'd miss me.
I think I would. No, I would.
I think you'd miss me.
Yeah, I would. Would you miss me?
What, if I was with Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you really?
Yeah, I would.
That's really kind.
Yeah, I would.
It was my birthday the other day, wasn't it, Rosie?
It was your birthday.
I was 37.
Yeah, we're nearly 40 now.
And it really hit me that, you know, my sister in 8 years will be 50 and I'll have a 50-year-old sister. I still feel...
You're 40 in 3 years.
I still feel 12 when I'm with Laura and I just cannot believe...
That you're getting older.
My brother's just turned 40. Happen. My brother turned 40 2 days after me. My nephew's just been born.
We're all getting older.
We are all getting older.
You know, what freaks me out is when your mum said to you, oh, one day you'll be the oldest generation. I was like, no, I won't. What?
Do you know, I went round to my mum's yesterday and I cried because I said, Mum, there'll be a time when you and Dad aren't here. And she went, I know, sausage, because that's what she calls me. And I went, right. I said, that sounds really crap. And she went, you're going to be absolutely fine. And I just started crying. I just started crying.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it was a really lovely day, actually, babe, actually.
Do you want to hear about my colonic?
I'd love to know.
Basically, my boyfriend's mum was like, do you want a colonic? And I was like, yeah. She was like, my mate does them. You can have it for free. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I just went to this random room and had her do it.
Fair play to you, Rosie.
She just popped up my bum, and then we looked at the poo, and she was like, "You chew your food really well," and I was like, "Good, thank you."
Was this all above board, babe? Was it like, where were you? Who was this
I was
person?
in a room in Malvern with warm water going up my arse, and
What
then
did it make you want to poo?
yeah, it makes you go and poo, and then you just go poo for ages.
Right.
Do you know what, Rose?
What?
Everybody poos.
No, I know that.
Everybody.
We say that to Ziggy.
Yeah.
He goes to the toilet. He goes, "Do you know what, Mama? Everyone poos." I'm
Everyone
like, "Do you know what,
poos.
Ziggy? They do.
Yeah.
They do, Ziggy."
Yeah, everyone. Some do it different ways, but everybody's got poo.
Ziggy's just got to the stage in life where he asks why to everything. I was explaining this to Grandma and Grandpa.
I thought I'd enjoy this. I always thought, I can't wait till he asks why, because I can't wait to explain to him.
Can I
about
tell you a
life.
conversation I had with him?
Go on.
He said, "Mama, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm feeding Rocky some food, Ziggy." He went, "But why?" I went, "Because he's hungry." And he went, "Oh, but why?" And I said, "Well, because sometimes we need to fuel our bodies with energy so we can play." And he went, "Oh, but why?" I said, "So we can enjoy life." And he went, "But why?" And that's when I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's only
so many down the rabbit hole you can go.
Yeah.
And then he went, "You don't know?" I went, "I don't know." He went, "Okay." It was so sweet. So
Guys, Ziggy had a graduation photo shoot, right, at his nursery, and I just thought it would just be like end of year photos, just
Right.
standard.
Whatever.
What we had
We're
before.
like, yeah, whatever.
And my sister-in-law kept joking like, "Oh, he'll have a little cap and gown." I was like, "Ha ha," but like he's 3.
Guys, he had a cap and
He had a cap and gown and a scroll with nothing on it.
nothing on
But
it.
then my sister-in-law was like, to be fair, I think everyone who graduates has a scroll with nothing on it. But do you know what? I never had my I graduated, but I never had my graduation because I couldn't afford my own tickets. I had to work.
That's so sad.
Couldn't afford my own graduation tickets because they're extortionately priced. Like, I paid for university. You'd think the graduation would be free. Fuck
Yes.
you. I knew I'd have to like rent the cap and gown. I didn't know I'd have to pay for my own ticket. Like,
100%.
have I not paid for my right to like graduate from my own
Apparently
studies
not,
that I
babe.
paid for? How dare thee?
Why did
How
you just
dare thee?
hijack Ziggy's nursery
I had to
graduation?
work. But the point is, he's got a graduation photo. I've always wanted a graduation photo.
Do you want me to take one?
And he's 3.
All right, Rosie, God. You've got a lot of emotional trauma, haven't you, babe,
I have
throughout
a lot,
your life.
and
You've got a lot of grudges.
What do you call me? A blame-shifting,
Grudge-bearing
grudge-bearing toad. Yeah.
Oh, and on that note, Rosie, don't forget to check out Surfshark, guys. It's surfshark.com/Rose and Rosie and use our code Rose and Rosie at the checkout for an extra 4 months of Surfshark VPN. How exciting.
Also, don't forget that when there's one rat, there's usually many more.
9,000 rats. Bye.
Bye.